Well, today we're reviewing these Vitrea glass paints, Vitrea 160 by Pebeo, and they're oven bake glass paints. In fact, they're the only brand of oven bake glass paints I know. If you know of any others, please do let me know. What's the idea of an oven bake paint? Well, normally with stuff which is glass painted, we say wipe it down, wash it down, but don't soak or put it in the dishwasher. With these, once you've oven baked them, they are meant to be dishwasher proof. We shall see. So what did I buy? I bought this little beginner's set of paints, and I bought myself the specific outliner which goes with it. I should say it also says Vitrea on it, and that's black. Colours, I was quite pleased with the colours. You might see better on the box. We've got a green, yellow, white, red, black, and this is my one misgiving, it's turquoise. Now I'd much rather have had a proper blue in there. That turquoise is quite greeny and it means we haven't got a proper blue. Apart from that, it's a really nice range of colours. You've got your black and white, you've got your primaries. It's just a shame that blue turquoise wasn't bluer, or replace it with one of their blue colours. It sort of spoils the set a little bit. It's not the end of the world, but it does spoil it a little bit. So to start with, let's talk about the outliner. As many of you will know, I absolutely hate using these tubes. Well, not hate, but I do have a strong dislike of using these tubes. I find them remarkably difficult to use. And I've been glass painting for over 20 years. I can imagine beginners have even more of an issue with them. If you're good with them, then good on you, but I'm still trying to get a decent finish with them. I have tried using other outliners with the paint, and I will show you now. That's one little test piece, and that's another little test piece. Now I don't know if you can see, this has been done with gallery glass, and when it dries it gives sort of cracking around the edge, and that is not good. On the other hand, I did this with Anita's outliner and it's fine. So I could use that, particularly if I'm not going to put it in the oven. You don't have to put it in the oven, it just makes it dishwasher proof. If you don't put it in the oven, it's just like any other water-based paint. Whether you can put Anita's in the oven certainly doesn't say anywhere that you can, so I'm not going to recommend you do it. I recommend, even though it's difficult to use, if you're going to put it in the oven, you stick to the specific outliner for it. Apart from being difficult to use, the other issue is that this outliner actually works out quite expensive. I can get a big bottle of normal outliner for about £5. This between £3.50 and £4 just for that little bit. Not good. Right, so just to give you a view of the outliner, you see why I have some difficulty in using it. I shan't waste too much of it. There you go. Quite difficult to get an even start, and same with the finish, and it does carry on coming out. Because this is foil, a bit like your toothpaste tube, it's still coming out even after you've stopped pressing. But it is usable. In many ways it's no different from any other outliner, it's just the applicator makes life difficult for you. So that's the outliner. Now you will notice here I've actually started painting something, and it's a glass I'm painting, and the paint covers very well. This is a rounded surface, so as normal I'm doing it segment by segment, leaving each one to at least dry a bit before I paint the next. Now, as with any 3D painting like this, when you're not working flat, you want to get enough paint on to give a smooth finish to cover everything, but not so much that it's going to run over the edge of the outlines. I will prop that up a little bit more. In fact, I can probably do it now. Just on that side. There we go. Make sure it's all covered. And you might notice, unlike every other video, because I am painting and not flood filling, I am using a standard paintbrush rather than my solid one. Just going to take a bit of excess off that side. There we go. And now I need to leave that to dry before I move on. Don't worry, we will soon be having a specific project, probably one of these, doing one of these using the oven baked paints. So how do you use the paints? Well, as you've seen, you outline. You leave that to dry at least 2 or 3 hours, I would say, depends on how hot the day is, and then you paint like this. That you need to leave for a good 24 hours before you put it in the oven. Need to double check my figures about the oven, so I shall put that in the writing for this video. I think it's about 45 minutes. Temperature, I'll let you know. In fact, I could possibly let you know now. 325 degrees Fahrenheit. It doesn't say whether you need to take into account whether your oven is fan assisted or not. I'm going to. So I say work smoothly, bit by bit, moving it round when you're doing a 3D object. And you can see here is one I did earlier, and that will be going in the oven very soon, and we'll come back and take a look at it when it comes out. Well, as if by magic, time has moved on and we're over 24 hours later and the stuff has been in the oven. This is the test piece, you'll remember from before. I'm flying blind here because obviously I haven't been able to try this out. So yeah, that is definitely, I could probably get that off with a bit of work, but you know, that is really quite solid. Okay, I might not even be able to get it off with a bit of work. I got a feeling my knife might. That really is quite good. You can see it's retained the colour rather nicely, and letters have stuck on as well. I wanted to test that because maybe if you do a glass you'll want to put a date on it or something like that. Now this piece was done using the specific outliner and obviously the Vitrea 160 paints. Now if I look at the other test piece I did, this was done using a general outliner. In this case it was Anita's. We know the plaid gallery glass didn't work. It reacted badly with the paint. This is Anita's outliner. And again, that has gone on very well. The paint's just as, since that was a peelable outliner before, that is now quite solid. Now I cannot recommend to you that you use any of the cheaper outliners. I will say don't use the plaid gallery glass because that definitely doesn't work. I can't recommend you use others because they don't say in their instructions they are suitable for oven baking. What you do is up to you, but I will not recommend using other outliners. But I've tried this just as a little test. I'm actually quite happy with it. Well, finally, here's the glass I was doing, or one of the glasses I was doing, and as you can see, it certainly retained the colour. We've already worked out it's very solid on there. I'm not going to try this one with a knife because I want to keep it nice. I don't think I'd damage it. There you are, see, then he tries it with a knife straight away. Now that's on there solid. The colours have retained their brightness. If anything, they might have got a little bit brighter. Quite happy with this paint. Only in the very special circumstances of needing something to be dishwasher stroke washproof. Don't put it on any surfaces which are going to come in contact with food. So if you're doing like a glass plate, do it underneath. Obviously this is on the outside, so the liquid won't be touching it. I assume that's for health and safety reasons. But in its very specific niche, this is a really good paint. I'm quite happy with it. I shall have more of a play with it. I will be doing a project with it. Hope you've enjoyed this review. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're on YouTube, or better still, visit our site and sign up to the email list, and you'll get information quite rarely, perhaps once every couple of weeks, on new projects, reviews, and of course glass painting techniques. Happy crafting!